The top 1% of KDP publishers are churning out books like these that are easily making 4 figures plus per month thanks to AI. How are they able to do it at such a rate and stand head and shoulders above everyone else when it comes to KDP royalties? Now, it's not the fact that they're using AI, it's how they're using AI. While most people hear KDP and AI and immediately just think ChatGPT and writing an entire book for them, this top 1% is utilizing it in a completely different way. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what they're doing differently and how they're leveraging AI to make thousands from these KDP books every single month. So going straight into it, and I actually gave you a clue a second ago when I used the word leverage. You see there's a huge difference between relying on AI and leveraging AI. Amazon even distinguish this on their own site when they break down AI content into AI generated and AI assisted. Generated meaning it's been produced by AI, assisted meaning it's being produced by a human, but AI has helped with the process. And in my opinion, you want to be sitting in this AI assisted category. Because despite seeing huge advancements in AI in the last few years, it's still hugely reliant on human input to provide expertise and context, especially when it comes to KDP. So what the best KDP publishers are doing is they're simply breaking down the entire KDP process into high income generating tasks and low income generating tasks. Now, high income generating tasks are typically subjective things that require human expertise and generally drive a lot of the value, something like niche research. You see, there are so many factors and variables at play when it comes to finding a good KDP niche that it's almost impossible to just set a blanket rule to AI to go ahead and follow. There needs to be that human input and that human context too. On the flip side, low income generating tasks are much more objective, don't require expertise to judge context, and can be easily handled by AI, especially because it's these tasks that take up most of your time. Things like content research, book descriptions, and even book cover creation all fit into this category, as you will find out later in this video. So rather than just getting AI that doesn't really know a lot about Amazon KDP to do everything for you and expect miracles, it's all about finding this balance and ensuring that high income generating tasks are being handled by a human that understands the context, and low income generating tasks that are generally a lot more time consuming are being handled by AI. And that's also why this top 1% is making almost double the amount of KDP books in just half the time too, because they understand leveraging their time. And in just a minute, I'm going to show you many ways that you can leverage AI just like these top publishers. But before I do that, it's also super important to know what not to do when it comes to using AI on KDP. Ultimately, these things can get you banned, yet people are still doing it in the hope of finding shortcuts along their KDP journey. So mistake number one, which we've already touched on, is using ChatGPT to write an entire or the majority of the book for you. You see, Amazon don't want their marketplace flooded with these rubbish AI produced books, which is why they have the ability to terminate your account if you're found to be producing fully AI content. On top of this, the end result of these kinds of books is usually a relatively poor quality book, because AI just isn't quite there when it comes to creating an entire book for you, and you'll end up just getting bad reviews and your book won't sell anyway. So there is literally zero point in doing this. This also ties nicely into mistake number two, which is lying when Amazon asks you about AI usage in your book. So many people do exactly what I've just covered, and they think they'll get away with it just because they've told Amazon there is no AI in there. Do you really think Amazon are that stupid? You might get away with it for a little bit of time, but you will get caught eventually. And imagine building a KDP account up legitimately for years that's worth 6 or 7 figures, and then just getting banned because you produced an AI generated book right at the start of your journey when you were trying to cut corners. Do not be tempted, resist this, and you'll have no regrets further down the line when it comes to your KDP journey. And just to reiterate, I'm not saying don't use any AI generated content in your books. I'm just talking about these books are like 90% plus generated just using ChatGPT or something like that. So in short, when it comes to KDP and AI, don't see it as a way of filling in the gap for your laziness or the inability to think for yourself. Instead, you have to see AI for exactly what it is at this current moment in time. And that is a tool to leverage and help with these time-consuming, low-income generating tasks. And here are multiple ways the best publishers are doing exactly that. Now, firstly, these successful publishers like myself have realized that AI has significantly lowered the barrier of entry for creating medium content books like activity books or coloring books. In the past, you'd have to invest tens of hours to get these books created or even pay a freelancer to do it for you. But now, these kinds of books are just as easy as low content books to make and can help you scale your KDP sales way quicker. It's not 2020 anymore. These big publishers aren't creating notebooks and journals like they used to. They're moving on to higher content stuff, and medium Medium content publishing is exactly the sort of thing they're looking at. Now, if you want to learn my exact blueprint for how I use Medium content publishing to generate over $250,000 in Amazon KDP royalties, I'll leave a link to my KDP Mastery course down in the description below. It covers every step of the KDP process in significant detail, from finding six-figure niches and best-selling keywords to how to create and market your KDP books and scale your KDP from a side hustle to a full-time business. So back to the conversation with AI and KDP, and now we know that AI is so much better when you leverage it rather than solely relying on it. Here are a few ways that you can do that. Now, the first way is by planning and creating an entire activity book just in ChatGPT. So as I just said, the first way we're going to be using ChatGPT to help us with our KDP business is to start creating content for an activity book. So let's just say, for the example of this video, we're making a dinosaur activity book for kids. And what we want ChatGPT to do is come up with loads of potential ideas for us. So put in a prompt something like this: I am making a dinosaur activity book for kids. Can you suggest some activities to include? And then press enter into that. And the key thing here is, yes, of course, you could think of these activities entirely by yourself, but having to write these down and actually think for them off your own back just takes a lot of time. It's really not a high skill task, but it's a very time consuming task. And that goes back to that idea of what I mean by getting ChatGPT and AI to do all of these kinds of tasks. So as you can see, you've got loads of different things here. We've got coloring pages, puzzles and games, so dinosaur crosswords, word searches, mazes, matching games. You can see so many different activities that, again, you also might not have thought about yourself. So really interesting to have this information from ChatGPT. Now, you can even go one step further with this. So let's say we wanted to do a word search. So yeah, we're really happy with a lot of these activities. We want to go ahead and make a word search. But what you need for a word search is you need two things. First of all, you need the topics for each word search. So let's say we're making 5 for this activity book. And then we also need the individual words for each of those word searches. But ChatGPT can help us out with that too. So let's just say, can you suggest 5 different topics for the word searches? And what it's going to do is come up with 5 different topics for all of the word searches, and also include all of the words to use. So all of this thinking has been completely taken off your plate, and it's done that within a minute, maybe 2 minutes. And you can just include all of these words within your word searches. So we have a type of dinosaur word search, we have a dinosaur habitats word search, dinosaur features, dinosaur time periods. And hopefully you're starting to see what I mean by these tasks that just take up so much of your time can be easily leveraged and outsourced to AI. And you're probably thinking, when it comes to these, can I just copy and paste stuff from AI or ChatGPT into my KDP books? Generally speaking, no, if you're copy and pasting like really long paragraphs or almost entire books. But if you're just copy and pasting individual words like these, there is absolutely no way to tell whether this has come from ChatGPT or come from you. So you're absolutely fine to just copy and paste individual words like this. So now we have the words for our word searches. How can we actually go ahead and create them? Now, the first site that I personally use myself is called instantpuzzlegenerator.com. It does actually cost, but for me, if you're making loads of these activity books, it is completely worth it. And also you have full commercial use of all the word searches. However, if you don't want to invest, I'm aware that not everyone has the resources to do that. You can do word search makers online. This one is thewordsearch.com/maker. And basically what you can do is just put in your title, your description, and your word list. You do have to be careful about the terms of use. I have checked this specific website, and as far as I can see, everything seems to be okay. But obviously do your own checks when you're using this, because of course you can get in trouble if you're using things for commercial use when it says you're not allowed to do that, especially if they are free. But when you're doing this, all you would do is go in and just copy and paste all of these individual words and just drop them into your word search maker, and then just press submit. Very, very straightforward. And then you'll get an answer page and also a question page. And then all you need to do is just take a snipping tool or your screenshot if you're on Mac or Windows, depending on what you're on, and then just take an image of the word search and put that in. Because if you're just downloading it as a PDF and then just dropping that into your file for your book, you are literally just copying everything from this website. But if you just take your own image and then maybe put some decorations around the side of your page and just make it a little bit more unique, you might be much better off when it comes to that commercial use stuff. But again, of course, just make sure you do your own checks with this. But that is as simple as it would be to make a word search. And you can see here how little time and little effort that has all taken us. So that's the first way that you can leverage AI and ChatGPT specifically to help you with your KDP books. And now building on from that, we can go one step further. So when it comes to making the description for your books, yes, you cannot just copy and paste straight from ChatGPT, but what you can do is get ChatGPT to build the backbone and the fundamentals of your book description. So now ChatGPT knows about kind of the ideas that we're going for and what book we're looking to make. You can just say something like, can you create an engaging book description for this book. And what it's going to do is create a description for you and everything that you need to include within your book description. What I said before is I wouldn't just copy and paste everything, but literally copy this and put your own spin on things, put in some different words and just break everything up, because the point with using AI when it comes to KDP is not to just copy everything that it's doing, it's to take away most of the heavy lifting. And that's what this has done for us. So much heavy lifting in terms of the structure of our description, some ideas of what to include has all been done for us. We just need to go in then and tinker a few things and make it entirely unique to us so that it is genuine content that we are allowed to use in our listing. And you can see there just how easy that is as well. So the next way these top publishers are using AI for their KDP books is to help them create the covers for their books. So again, what you want to make sure you're doing is not creating the entire cover using AI, but the main image on a book cover can easily be generated by something like Midjourney or DALL-E if you're using OpenAI. I personally use Midjourney. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that here. So essentially how Midjourney works is you'll give it a prompt and then it will create an image based off that prompt. So all you want to do is head into Midjourney and then go for the Imagine feature and then just type in a prompt like this. You can copy and paste exactly the same thing here or change some of the words if you have a different kind of book. But I've just put a cute image of a dinosaur in a wild background with cartoon style, and then I've also put -- aspect ratio 2:3 because this is really important. If you're making a book cover, you want it to be the right size for your actual book. Otherwise it would be a square image and it's just very hard to make and put into your book cover. So once it's done its thing and it's created the images for us, what it will do is give you 4 different options for your images. And you can see here image 1, image 2, image 3, and image 4. I actually really like image 4. I think it's a nice, cute looking dinosaur and it's kind of exactly what we're looking for our coloring book. So then all we need to do to choose this image is just press U4, so upscale 4. Every single image here has a specific number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. If you want to have different variations of each, you can press these V buttons, or if you want an entire new batch completely, you can just press this button here. But I actually like this one, so I'm going to press upscale 4 and actually save this image myself. So just click into it and then just press Control and then Save Image, and that will save to your browser. And then you want to head over to Canva and drop this image in and start making the book cover from it. So as you can see, I've got my Canva set up here, I've got my template, and I'm just going to drop this image over the top, and this is going to be the basis for our front cover. So as I mentioned previously, we're not just going to have this as our front cover, we're then going to go ahead and add some text on top. So just go in and drop some text, and then let's choose a different kind of font. I like this kind of font for a kid's book, and then let's just type in dinosaur. I generally would suggest spending a bit of time actually creating the book cover yourself if you are actually doing this for real. Of course, this is just a tutorial, so I'm going to do it relatively quickly. I would spend a bit more time if it was actually my book, but I'm going to make a bit more space at the top here. And one thing I really like about this image too is it's kind of a blurry kind of background, almost like it looks like it's been painted with, so it gives that artistic feel that you would want from a coloring book. So I'm just going to center everything here and make sure everything fits where it needs to be. And you can see here we have our text. We're just going to change the color. Again, I would play around with the colors and see which ones you prefer yourself. But let's just get one that stands out nicely. That red looks good. And then we'll go for an outline of maybe just a white color. So you can see we have dinosaur here. And then I would maybe put something like activity book, make this smaller. Probably a bit smaller than that, 45, there you go. And then you could have, you can maybe put for kids or for the age group that you want. And at the bottom, you can do mazes, word searches, and more. Again, it's entirely up to you how you plan and actually create this book cover, but I generally go for something like this if I was to do a kids activity book. And you can see straight away how little time it's taken us. This image would previously, before AI, have taken ages to create yourself, or you would have had to pay a lot of money for someone to do it. Then the back cover, ultimately it's entirely up to you how you want to do this, but generally speaking, if it's an activity book, I might just put something like a square in the background here. drag this over, fill up the back, and then just put some kind of blurb or just sell the book in whatever way you want to. Or you can actually put images of your activities within the activity book on the back, just to give the customers a bit more of an idea of what they're getting when they purchase this book. That is entirely up to you. There's no best practice for that. It's kind of subjective. So there you go. That is as simple as it is to use Midjourney or DALL-E if you're going to use OpenAI software to create a book cover for your KDP books. But I'm now also going to show you an alternative way that you can use exactly the same software to create another book cover. So let's just say, for example, you really like the look of one of your competitors' books or a book in a similar niche, and you wanted to recreate that yourself. Now you actually can do that with Midjourney. All you need to do is head over to Amazon and find a book cover that you like. This one here is going to be the example. Yes, it's a coloring book for kids, but the idea is you're just taking the main image, which also could be good for our activity book. And then what you want to do is just take a screenshot of the image that you want, and then just save this to your computer and then head over back to Midjourney. And once you're back in Midjourney, you want to use a slightly different feature to the one we used before. So actually we're going to be using the describe feature, which writes a prompt based on your image. So what you need to do is then select image and then just upload the image that you just took from Amazon. And once that's uploaded, just press enter, and what Midjourney is going to do, it's going to look at this image and then write prompts. So as you can see, Midjourney has reverse engineered this image that we uploaded and given out different prompts for us to use. Now, what you want to do is choose the best prompt that you think best fits how you want your book cover to look in terms of a description. So the one I'm going to choose here is this one, coloring book cover, dino coloring book fun, coloring books for kids, cartoon style, dinosaur family playing with an egg in the jungle in the style of cartoon style. Now, it's worth remembering some of this might not make a lot of sense, but it's AI, it's going to be a little bit different. So what you want to do is just copy and paste this and then go back into here and then use the imagine feature. I would always recommend copy and pasting and then changing some of the words because they're not going to be exactly what you want. So for this example, this first bit, coloring book cover, dino color fun, is just the name of the title for this book. So we actually don't want to include that. We want to just keep it with what it says here, coloring books for kids, cartoon style dinosaur family playing with an egg in the jungle in the style of a cartoon style. I actually think maybe we can get rid of this coloring book for kids and just keep it as simple as possible. Cartoon style dinosaur, and then obviously change the aspect ratio to 2:3, which is meant to be for the KDP book. So as you can see, Midjourney has gone through and used this exact prompt, and it's given us 4 different images in a very similar style to the one we did. I actually really like this first one, so this one here. So I've actually decided to press upscale and upscale this image to use for our book. And you can see here, it's a very similar kind of image to the one we got inspiration from, but it's put its own twist on it. So it still gives us that unique ability to have our own front cover. And again, it's just taken all of the thinking and all of the time consuming tasks away from us. So to use this in your book cover in exactly the same way, you would just save this image and then just drop it into Canva as you've done here. And we can have exactly the same kind of style as we did with the first book cover that we made, but we've got inspiration from somebody else's book. So literally just do exactly what we've done in the previous one. And there you go, another alternative book cover for our dinosaur activity book, one that we've taken purely from our competition and one that we've come up entirely ourselves. 2 different ways of making a book cover using AI. It's taken less than 10 minutes to do both, and it hasn't cost us a penny aside from any kind of Midjourney subscription that you sign up for, which I think is something like $13 a month or something like that. So really minimal compared to what you would spend if you're paying a freelancer to create an image like this. So now we have 2 potential book covers for our dinosaur activity book. We also have the word searches that we made. How else can we use AI to create some other aspects of this book? Now, what I'm going to show in this video is going to be a coloring page, because also you can use this in activity books. You can use it in its standalone coloring book. So I think it's a really useful kind of page idea for me to give you a tutorial on this video. So we essentially just want to make as many coloring pages for our dinosaur activity book, or maybe our dinosaur coloring book, as we can or as we want for the size of our book. So again, just head into Midjourney, use the imagine feature, and then put a prompt in similar to something like this. Dinosaur coloring page for kids, simple line style, black and white. And ultimately, it depends on the style of coloring page that you want. If you just want one that's for kids, it's very simple, a prompt like this, which you can just copy and paste yourself and then just change some words, maybe change dinosaur for animal if it's an animal coloring book. You get the gist, but it's very, very simple and straightforward to do. So as you can see, Midjourney has done exactly that, and these are the 4 images that we've been given. I personally think this one is the best, so this is the one I'm going to use for the example of this video. And then what you would do essentially, if you're not happy with the image, just go back in, tinker your prompt a little bit. Maybe you want thicker lines, thinner lines, less detail in the background. The more information you can give Midjourney, the better. But this is just a good example and a good start of the kind of coloring pages you could have for your book. So I'm going to go ahead and upscale this one and then drop it into Canva. Now, as you can see, I'm still in the same file that I had for the book cover. So the actual layout of the pages is going to be a little bit different, but that's not the point here. The point is just showing you how you then go ahead and put this into Canva yourself. So let's just imagine we've only got half the page to work with, and this is kind of our coloring page. You'd make it a decent size so it stands out, and then you can maybe put a title of maybe what the dinosaur is, and then a fact about the certain dinosaur if you want to kind of do it that way. It entirely depends how you want to do it. Again, at this point, this is where you would take over with your creative freedom and actually do the stuff yourself, because in my opinion, having maybe facts about the dinosaur or making your book just a little bit more unique to what's currently on the market is a way of standing out and making your book much higher value. It really doesn't take that much time. You can even get your facts from ChatGPT or Google or whatever. It doesn't have to be a really time-consuming process, but really focus on making sure your product is the best in the niche, and that's how you become successful with KDP. So in this example, we've taken away loads of time-consuming tasks. We've come up with all of the activities for our activity book. We've had loads of different content for the word searches and how to create the word searches. We've created 2 different styles of cover using Midjourney and your own ideas, and also reverse engineering your competitors. And then we've also got coloring book pages for this activity book, and it's literally taken us hardly any time whatsoever. So there you go. That is how the top publishers on Amazon KDP are actually using AI in 2024. They're saving themselves so much time and just focusing their own time on the really high income generating tasks. As I mentioned, that's anything from making your book something that really stands out and becoming a bestseller in your niche. It could be niche research, it could be keyword research, it could be Amazon ads. All these things are really high value tasks, and just things like getting content ideas for word searches. Anybody on the planet can do that, but it just takes time, and they are the sort of things you want to be leveraging AI for. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do have any questions about anything that I've covered, then please do let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.